Quiet night tonight, huh? Nobody's got anything to say.
I have a lot to say. I'm holding back.
Ah, okay.
I have a lot to
Okay.
say.
We'll take that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you noticed this morning, but it was the first time I've ever tried that. But you can do Zoom as long as you dial in from an airplane.
That's interesting. So,
You mean while the airplane's in the air?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Can you say that again? I've tried that.
Give the guy a break, Icky. What's wrong with you?
It worked. No. I was on here this morning. I was just afraid to talk because I didn't want to get in trouble.
Right. So what did you do? I don't understand.
I just dialed in. I mean, I bought the Wi-Fi on American. It was $9.
Okay, that's right. I always have that.
Yeah, and I dialed in, and I was on sheer this morning. No problem.
I mean, it's streaming. It was streaming.
Yeah.
Which airline?
American.
And you had video working too?
No. So
You pay
they
more
block the actual Zoom app, but you can dial in like on WhatsApp or whatever. Yeah. No, but it's a regular.
Spirit had
It's a
two
regular phone
options.
call.
One was right, but
Yeah.
Spirit had two options. One was streaming, and one was the other one was cheaper, but they offered streaming.
Right. So, but they usually block like voice over IP calls if you do
Right.
streaming.
So
They
how
did
you
not.
call it? You called it through an app, or you called it through an app?
I called it through an app. That's why it came up as a funny number. But I called to test it first. I made a WhatsApp call to Dave, and that went through fine also. He heard me. I said hello, and then I hung up, just because I didn't want to I don't want to get kicked off the airplane.
I hear. Okay, that's it's good to know. So now we
Yeah,
can do
it's good to know.
the plane. Saying we do the dock from the plane now instead of terminals. Make everybody
So now we have no excuse not to go to listen to the share.
Jaco, it'll be amazing to watch. There'll be outfits during a share. That'll be an article for Yeshiva World. The stewardess carrying off a Maggid share, giving share on Zoom.
There you go. I guess
You see that? I can see that now.
Yep.
But that's the one bonus of masks. They don't know who you're talking to.
Right here. You can say you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear. Okay, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Okay, let's go. Yeah, so we're on Chub Zayin Amud Aleph, 4 lines down. I don't think we have to do. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but Monday's daf is we mail it in. It's around 15 lines, right? So we can give the oilam a break. Instead of doing a blot and a half tonight, we could do just a blot, and then we'll do a Amud tomorrow, and then a blot, and then we'll have it finished up by Monday, unless the oilam wants to do a blot and a half today. But I guess let's see how fast it takes us, and we'll go from there.
And then Tuesday we're starting Megillah, right?
Is Megillah next? I can never figure out the Daf Yomi order.
Yeah. Megillah's
next. Yeah.
Megillah, okay, yeah. So Vita with the got it.
You having to see him next week?
No, next major siyum is Mayed, Bez Hashem. Yeah.
Wait, when is that? Because I want to plan a trip already. You know.
Before
I hear you.
Pesach.
No, I think it's even
Come
before
on.
Purim. I think it's before Purim.
Before Purim?
I think it's before Purim.
Megillah.
Megillah, Mayed Cotton, and
Chagiga.
Chagiga.
Right.
Each one is around 30 blocks. So yeah, about 3 months. Took about 3 months. Yeah. Oh, Landau's here. See a lot of guys that haven't been here a whole week. Javi Khan's here.
I don't know what, Jack, I don't know what you're talking
Land-
about. I'll tell you Landau's here every single night.
Yes.
Exactly. Thank you. Finally.
What? You know what happened? We started talking about a CM, and all of a sudden his radar kicked in.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go. So Elohein, my mother. So
No, yesterday on your ha'ara about pictures for the I quoted afterwards, but they were actually dating. It wasn't like they were looking at women and then deciding afterwards and taking home stocks. That was shidduchim right then and there.
Yeah, but they weren't dating. They were watching
That
girls.
was shit.
Hey,
You see
yeah,
a girl,
she's-
now go out. That's going to a bar. That's fine. That's mutter. I don't have a problem with the girls meeting boys.
They were
My problem with the pictures.
Yeah, but this
Rebbeim
sounds like
cards.
Parrots, this sounds like a lineup. I'm sorry to say. The Mishnah sounds like a lineup. They just
I
line themselves up.
understand, but it's live. It's live. It's like
What's the
meeting in a
difference?
bar. Your
still judging
grandmother
the
used to yell about single events. The
Seems
boys
like
should
I
just
come
meet the
on more
girls.
often.
Yeah. You're still, but you're still judging the book by its cover.
That you're always going to do. You're never getting to the end of the book after I don't know how many years.
I hear parrots. I don't know. Okay, maybe.
They keep adding pages and new chapters. It's amazing.
that yes, that's true. I don't know. I don't know. It's a strange way to
Parents, you
take
don't know the half of it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, fine. Okay, so I don't know why. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The truth is, the Gemara is not really going to discuss it. I thought the Gemara, I was mixing it up, but yeah. I don't know pshat. I looked into it a little bit today. I didn't find anything. Anyways, so we're talking about the Mamados, right? Which Mamados were the representatives of Klal Yisrael that davened for the Korbanos. So we said Eloheinu Mamados Lishanemer Tzavis B'nei Yisrael. So it says these are the Mamados, and then the Mishnah goes into immediately trying to what the Mamados are, but then it just was why the source for the Mamados. So the Mishnah doesn't seem to be explaining exactly what it's trying to do. So that's what the Gemara asks. Maika Amar. What does the Mishnah mean? When it says Hachika Amar, this is what it's saying. Eloheinu Mamados. These are the Mamados. Umatam tiknu Mamados. And why were they masakin Mamados? Why? Lefishanemar Tzavas B'nei Yisrael. Since it says that there's Hashem said, tell Klal Yisrael they should make a carbon of lechem for my fires. That's a literal touch. How can you bring a carbon for a person, meaning for Klal Yisrael, who I know I'm an and he's not standing there? So skinu neviim harishonim esrim v'harim mishmaros. So therefore, the neviim rishonim were masakin 24 mishmaros. I'll call mishmar on each and every watch. There was a maimid of Kohanim, Levim, and Israel. And when it became time for one mishmar to go to the base of Mikdash, Kohanim, Levim, Yerushalayim, the Kohanim and Levim went to Yerushalayim. So that's the background with what was going on with the Mamados. Fine. So Tanur Rabban, on Esrim Mishmaros Eretz Yisrael, there were 24 mishmaros in Eretz Yisrael. Shteyem Esrei b'Yerichai and 12 in Yerichai. Shteyem Esrei b'Yerichai, Nefishin lo lantuva. That means there's a lot more. That means there's 36. We said that there's 24 mishmaros. Now the Gemara is saying that there's 24 in Eretz Yisrael and 12 in Yerichai. So that comes to 36. So the Gemara says, Ella, the Gemara answers, Ella Shteyem Esrei mehen b'Yerichai. No, it doesn't mean there's the 12 additional ones in Yerichai. It means that 12 out of the 24 are in Yerichai, right? Fine. So Higia Zman HaMishmar Lalis. So when it came time for that particular mishmar to go on duty, so Chatzi HaMishmar Haya'olam Eretz Yisrael Yerushalayim, half of it went from Eretz Yisrael to Yerushalayim, V'Chatzi HaMishmar Haya'olam Yerichai, and the other half would go to Yerichai. Kadeshi Yisabku Mayim Umazan Lachem Yerushalayim, that there should be enough food and drink for their lachayim Yerushalayim, for their brothers, the siblings in Yerushalayim, right? So Hamar of Yehuda, so they basically had them based. The Mamados were based in two places. Some of Yehuda Mashmu Kahana v'Lin Yisrael Ma'akvin is a carbon. It's Ma'akiv the carbon, right? Which is basically that the Mamados, the Mamadim, have to be there, and if they're not there, then the carbon is no good. The Masnisatan and the Brisa with Rav Shimon Elazar Kohanim v'Levim v'Klei Shir Ma'akvin is a carbon. It's not only is it the Kohanim v'Levim, but even the Klei Shir, even the instruments, if they don't have the instruments and they don't play the instruments when the Korbanos are being brought, then the carbon is no good. What's the Machlokes? So Mar Savar Ikar Shira B'Peh, or Mar Savar Ikar Shira B'Kli. We had this Machlokes in Sukkah, right? Whether the Ikar Shira is with instruments or the Ikar Shira is with voices. So the one that says it needs to have instruments, so obviously he's of the opinion that you need the ikar shira is bekli. And the other mandoma that says they just need to be there is the ikar is bepeh. Yeah. Fine. So Omar Rav Chama Bar Guri Omar Rav. So now this is also now the background of exactly when they decided that there's going to be 24 mishmaros. So Rav Chama Bar Guri Omar Rav. Moshe Tikkun Lem Yisrael Shmeina mishmaros. Moshe was misaken 8 mishmaros. Arba me Elazar, 4 from Elazar, Dalar me Isamar, and 4 from Isamar. Right. Yeah, from the kids of, meaning the descendants of Elazar and Isamar, each one got 4. Yeah. So, and how did you know this? How did Rav know this? Where did Rav get this information from? It doesn't say it in the Torah. So Rashi says he had a Gemara, which we're going to have in the next few days a lot. He had we call it a, what's it called? A tradition. He had it handed down as a yeseira. It's a yeseira. He knew that 4 of the mishmaros came from Elazar and 4 came from Isamar. Shmuel, b'midan al sheishes, and then Shmuel decided that there's going to be 16. So he doubled them. He doubled the mishmaros. And David b'midan al esrim v'arba, and David added another 8. So that came to 24. Shenemar, Shnas ha'arbarim l'malchus David, in the 40th year of David's kingdom, Nidrishu v'yimtzu b'hem giborei exile v'yazer Gilad. So, and he found that there was these strong men in Yazer Gilad. Yeah. So again, we don't know exactly where all these numbers came from, but that's the Gemara saying that each one of them added on their own 8. Okay. And the pesukim here, how does it go? How do we get 8 from this pasuk? I don't remember again. I think there's 8 names in that pasuk. That's what we said, right? I think that's what it was. That the pasuk. Where's the pasuk? Oh, it doesn't say it only brings a few. It doesn't on the side of the Gemara here. It only brings a few, but I think that's what it is. Either way, so 8 from Moshe, 8 from Shmuel, and 8 from David. So Meisvei, 4 lines down on the wide lines. So Meisvei. Yes, the kasha on this. Moshe Tikkun Lem Yisrael Shmeina mishmaros. Moshe was misaken 8. Arame Elazar, Arame Isamar, 4 from each. But David v'Shmuel b'midan al esrim v'arba. David and Shmuel went and made it to 24. Shenemar Hema Yasad David and Shmuel haroya b'amunasam. It was David and Shmuel who did this. Right. So that's a kasha on Rav. Rav had said that it went. First Shmuel 8, then David added 8, and here it's saying that they added 16 together. So Hachi Kamar, so Gemara answers, no, this is what it means to say. Yeseira shel David b'Shmuel haramasi, from the yeseid, from the base that the David and Shmuel haramasi did, midum al esrim v'arba. It ended up being 24, meaning not that they did it together, just each one of them did it separately, but each one added 8, so that's how it got to 24, but not that they did it together. Fine. So Tanya, we have a different brisa that disagrees. Moshe Tikkun Lem Yisrael Sheish Esrei mishmaros. Moshe made 16 watches. Shmeina me Elazar, Shmeina me Isamar. 8 for Elazar and 8 for Isamar. Sherabu b'nei Elazar, al b'nei Isamar. But when there were a lot more kids by Elazar than Isamar, Chalkom v'midam al esrim v'arba, then he added on. And he added it to 24. So here was this brisa is saying that Moshe did all 24, and there was 16 for Elazar and 8 for Isamar. Shenemar v'yimtzu b'nei Elazar rabin l'roshi hakvarim and b'nei Isamar. There were a lot more people by Elazar than there were by Isamar. V'yichalkim l'bnei Elazar roshim l'beis avos shisha asar, and he split it up. To Elazar, he gave 16 mishmaros of Bnei Isamar, the Beis Avaisam Shmeina, and he gave to the Beis Avaisam of Isamar, he gave 8. Vaymer, and the pasuk says, Peis Av Echad Achuz leElazar va'Achuz leIsamar. 1, he gave. I mean, the literal touch of Achuz is a percent, but he means he gave 1 to Elazar, and the achaz le'isama means and Isama is remained the same, meaning Elazar had 8 and he stayed at 8. I'm sorry, Isama had 8 and he stayed at 8, and Elazar went and they added 8 more onto Elazar. My vaymer, why do you need 2 pesukim to tell you the same thing? So when I answer just like there were more kids from Elazar, so Isamar also must have grown a little bit. Isamar's family grew, and I'm sorry, Elazar's family grew, and Isamar's family must have also grown. So Shmoyne me Kara Arba Hava, right? The 8 original ones were originally 4. Then they went to 8, right? But that's it. So that would say that's what that you would think that's, and then it continues growing. Toshema Beis Av Echad Achuz L'Elazar Echad Achuz L'Isama. No, it stayed the same. Isamar stayed at 8, and Elazar is the one that grew and doubled in size. So Elazar went from 8 to 16, and Isamar stayed at 8. So either way, Tiyufta the Rav Chama Bar Guria, it's a Tiyufta the Rav Chama Bar Guria, right? Because he said that Moshe did 16, and Rav Chama Bar Guria said he did 8, right? So Amar Lach Rav Chama Bar Guria, he's going to tell you, Tanoi, it's a Machlokes Tanoim. I go with the Tana that says that Moshe only made 8, not 16, right? So that's okay. So basically, we have a Machlokes Tanoim, how exactly was set up these mishmaros, right? Moshe definitely made 8. That's according to everybody. And then there's other shitas whether Shmuel added 8, David added 8, maybe Moshe did 16. Whatever, runs the gamut of all the different options of who made the mishmaros. All right. So Tana Rabbanan, Arba mishmaros alu min hagoyla, after the Galus Bavel, which was 70 years. So now they had to reestablish this mishmaros. So Arba mishmaros alu min hagoyla, 4 mishmaros went up from the goyla. Right? Meaning, so Rashi, it's interesting Rashi. They see Rashi in the second line up from the bottom. Rashi says, Alu min hagoyla. Yeah. It says, Bebayis sheni, v'hashar loy alu. Shahar b'mei Yisrael nishtayru v'loy ratzu la'alos. Kol Yisrael just didn't want to go. They built them a new Beis Hamikdash, and they said, we're very fine here in Bavel. Right? Just makes you wonder, what are we going to say when Mashiach comes? I mean, I'm afraid to know the answer. We're very comfortable here in America. Very geschmack, very good. You know what I mean? There's no NFL. There's no NFL, and whatever. Chas v'shalom, whatever. Hopefully, Klal Yisrael will chap. But clearly, back
There's
then,
a quote from Rav Shach years ago. He said to people, "When Mashiach comes, you'll run the other way."
Oh yeah. Okay, so that clearly they had it back then in Galus Bavel. The island wanted to stay in Bavel. So bottom line is there were really supposed to be 24 mishmaros that went up to Yerushalayim, and only 4 decided to go. So now, how are we splitting up these 4? Right? These kohanim were going to be busy. Right? Rabban, last night you wanted to say that there were plenty. What are you saying?
Just because Mashiach comes or Galus ends doesn't mean they have to leave.
I know, but you would think, Naftali, that if there was a Beis Hamikdash built, the island would be quite excited.
Even during the Beis Hamikdash, there were people that lived outside of Eretz Yisrael.
No, nobody's saying that they had to, but I'm saying only 4 mishmaros of Kohanim went up out of 24.
Right, not good odds.
Right? So, whatever. But Sam Rabban, you were saying that there was plenty of Kohanim available. I guess maybe by his region, but by his sheni, clearly they had a shortage. Right? Yeah, l'chayra, they had a big shortage in this by his sheni. Anyway, so 4 mishmaros went up. What were their names? Ve'eluhain, and they were Yediyah, Charim, Pashchar, and Amar. Right? So these are the 4 that went in. Right? These are 4 that went up. Amdu Nevi'im Shebeneim. Right? So the Nevi'im Shebeneim went up. Right? And now they had to split it up. So on Talmud Beis now, they went up. And they split them up. And they had to split the 4 into 24. So basically what they did is they split, what are you going to do? 4 into 24. You're going to divide it, and you're going to give 6 to each. right? So the Balalam, what they did is they wrote their names down on a piece of paper. Rashi says they put all 24 names on cloth, right? And they wrote 6 of each, right? There were 4 mishmaros that went up. So they wrote each one's name 6 times because that makes 24. And now they have to split it up. Who gets in what order? Yeah. So Balalam b'Nusanam b'Klipa, and they put it b'Kalpi. I'm sorry, they put it into a Kalpi. That's from Yuma. Right? That word that's from Yuma, right? That they put it into a, how do you call it? A lottery. Ba Yediyah came Yediyah, v'Natal Chelka, and he took his chelik, v'chelik chaver of Sheish, and the chelik of his friends, 6, right? Now, why did he go first? Because that was the order that they were in the first place of Mikdash. Yeah. So it's interesting. So what happened over here? So he ended up. I mean, how do you know that you're not going to pick somebody else's names? Right. What happened? Al Ruach HaKodesh. Right. What happened? Al Ruach HaKodesh is they all picked their own names. Rashi and Erchin. It's a Rashi and Erchin that says. Yeah, he kept putting his hand in, and he got all his own people, and each one, meaning when each one did the lottery, they pulled out all 6 from their own names, which Rashi says in Erchin there was Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah, so Ba'charim v'Natal Chelka v'chelik chaver of Sheish, and v'chein Pashur v'chein Imor. So each one got the 6. V'chein hisnu Neviim shebeneim, and they made a tanai. All the Neviim, they made a stipulation, right? Shafilu Yahayadav Rosh Mishmaros Oili. Even if Yahayarav, right? I think that's it. Right, it's a typo. That's the aleph there, right? Who was the head of all the mishmaros. Even if he came up from Bavel, Lo Yitcha Yediyah Mimekayim, Yediyah would be the leader. He would not push Yediyah out of the way. Ella Yediyah Ikar v'Yadav Tafaloi, and v'Yarav Tafaloi. Yediyah is going to be the main mishmar. He's going to be the first one, and Yarav is going to be batal, tafel to him. It's not going to be the Ikar, right? Being the reason, I guess it was a knas. It was a knas that since he didn't come up from Bavel, he lost his, I guess, chief mishmar status. He lost his chief mishmar status, right? But he could become a mishmar, meaning they didn't say to him, "Hey, you weren't here, you don't become a mishmar." Right? Rashi says no, he becomes a mishmar, right? And they would knock it down to 5. They would not knock somebody's down from 6 mishmaros per name to 5, but he would not have the name of chief mishmar. That would go to Yediyah. Yeah. Okay. So fine. So that's the what happened. That's the history of the.
Why did they lose status? All because he wasn't part of the original group that came back from.
He wasn't. Yeah, he didn't come up from Golos. So you kohanim, you know what I mean? You better make sure you get that first flight out as Hashem when Mashiach comes. You make sure you're there, right? Anyway,
how does Ruach HaKodesh help you pick out how does it help you when you stick your hand in and pick out a lottery? You pick out a piece of paper. Ruach HaKodesh, how does that help you?
So that's what I was. Yeah, the word Ruach HaKodesh is very interesting. I guess Ruach HaKodesh makes it seem like you'll know which one automatically. You'll know which one to put your hand to that will have your name on it. I guess. Isn't that
word
what
Ruach means direction. It means directed by Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Usually we think of it as a thought.
That's the way it usually
picking out a piece
directs
of paper.
people. But it does mean directed by a Kadosh Baruch Hu.
You're right, 100%. It's not it's not your standard Ruach HaKodesh, David. That's what you're saying. It's not your standard Ruach HaKodesh because there's no decision for you to make. It's a lottery. But I guess it's the hand was directed to the ones that had his name on it. That's what you have to say.
What were they? I didn't understand your explanation, Siaka. What were they trying to do?
They're trying to split up. They're trying to split up the mishmaros into 24. right? Meaning, yeah, you had to give out the 24 mishmaros. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning, and they had to know
But
which
it's the
order to
same,
serve.
it's the same people. So today he was called Fred, and tomorrow he's called Irving, the next day he was called Moshe, but it's the same guy each time. They only had 4 families. They didn't have 24 families.
Brian, that was for legal purposes.
I mean, what?
No, so
They made
that's
them all what's it called, LLC.
LLC, there you go.
Each
yeah,
family
so-
was divided into 6.
right, but
they
they
split them
meaning
into 6 families.
they split it into 6 families. Each family was split. Each one family was split into 6,
Okay,
Right.
good. No.
and then they had
And
to
they
figure
called
out.
them on the names of the other families.
Oh, I don't know. How did they? I don't know what they called them. They called them like Yediyah A and Yediyah B.
Byron, why is that so straight to understand? It's like your family is how many families that underneath all your kids kind of order, right? So that's 6 families underneath one brand.
Nobody's saying, but how do you know? How do you know? You're saying, how do you know which one? You gave them I guess they must have given them a different name. And then, no, but they also had to figure out what order to do it, because these were 4 random mishmaros. You had to figure out who goes first.
But the order
Right.
was.
I mean,
ordered in six.
what's the
What are you saying,
difference?
Doctor?
There's only
What
4
are the-
families. What's the difference? There's
The
only
order they
4
picked was
families.
order
There's
of the
52
mishmaros.
weeks in the year, and there's 4 families, right? So each family is doing 13 weeks. It wasn't they were doing 2 weeks
Right.
like they did when they were in the bias region. Each family was doing 13 weeks. So what is the big spritz? The order? What's the difference? They're doing 8 times more than they ever normally did. I moms don't understand. Oh, good. I don't. Everybody understands fine. I don't understand.
No. It's Doctor. What are you saying, Doctor?
Each family was divided into 6, and those 6 subdivisions went in order of the order they were picked. They didn't go again. The subdivision of the family went.
Right, but he's saying, but Lamaisa was all the same. He's saying it's
So
semantics.
you're saying, Doctor, the 4 families had the same amount of kahanim as the 26 families. What would Mahechet Eisner? How are you saying that?
They divided the family into 6 subgroups, and those 6 subgroups were each a separate mishmar. They didn't repeat. The
Right, they
family-
didn't. But
Well,
essentially,
what Ramadan's asking is, let's say one Kayan only had 4 kids.
Exactly.
I thought you were saying something else.
Yeah,
Why
but you normally had 26 mishmaros, and each
24,
one
24.
had 6, and each one had 6 families, right? Right.
No, normally you had
Each one
24
worked
mishmaros.
in the bias region, there's 26 families, and each
24,
one
24.
worked 24. Excuse me.
Right, yeah.
And forget it because they didn't work. Yontif was everybody, so they worked 20,
Right.
and each of the 24 had 6 families internally, like doctors saying they Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and so on.
Well, it was week. They split it by the week.
Oh,
right.
But each one worked 1 day of the week.
Oh, yeah, but that's no. See, we're splitting here. Here's the story. I think, okay, this is what I think. What I hear. I'm not sure if this is what you're asking. Meaning you had 4 families that had to be split into 24. So what they did is they took and they like Dr. Corman's saying, they split each family into 6 subdivisions. So they had Yediyah Aleph, Yediyah Beis, Yediyah Gimel, Yediyah. Each one was going to get a week. Each one was getting a week. That's how they did it. Each one was going to get a week. And they were picking lotteries for who gets which week. That's all. They were just picking the lottery for each one. So now what you're asking is, why do you need to make why don't you just give each one 6 weeks and finish? It's all the same family. It's semantics. Right. Okay, that's what I hear you, Kasha. He's saying, well, Rabban, I think this is what he's asking. Why do you have to split each family into 6? Right? Just give each family 6 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 weeks, and each of the 6 weeks, let different family members do it. Finished. Why do you have to make it so complicated? That's what he's asking. Okay, I hear.
Because that's what we do.
That is a good teretz. That is an excellent teretz. Yes, that is exactly what we do, right? Yeah. Anyways, fine. So that's essentially what happened. They subdivided each one into 6 families, and they sort of, and then each one had a week, and that's the way the rotation went. Okay, so fine. At least this is a case where they split families for good things. Yeah, fine. Yeah. So for Yisrael, fine. Then we say
Wait,
fight.
because I'm sure there was no fighting.
Maybe that's
I
the
don't know.
shot in the
We
Machlokes.
don't
Yeah,
know
that's
exactly.
that's maybe it. They have a lottery, then there's no arguing.
There's
If
still
they had
right,
to do it
'cause-
themselves,
right?
to
Because
split
they
it
can't
up.
argue just because there's a lottery with Ruach HaKodesh. They can't argue.
Right. Hey, okay, listen. We got to make sure Mashiach comes so we have this situation. So let's stop it right there, right? Okay, we're making a lot of trouble. Okay, because that's the end of the Mishnah about the Korban. So fine. So the Yisrael
What's the shot that Yade became the Rosh Mishmar? He was up first.
Is that the way you pronounce it? Yade?
I don't know how you pronounce it, but
I don't
whatever.
either. I don't either.
Whoever
Yeah,
it
okay, I'm
is.
just saying. Yadaya, okay, whatever. Yade,
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you saying?
Was he the
became
first one up
head?
from Gullus? Why did he become the head? He was never the head.
Because he was
Why
the
put
first
him?
one in the original order of the mishmaros. He was the first.
He was the first one that came back from Ezra over there.
I don't know if he was the first that came back, but in the order there, I must have all four come together. But he was the first, meaning in the order of the mishmaros, he was first up.
So he might have been the third, but he was.
In the
No one was
hierarchy,
second.
right? In the hierarchy of the mishmaros, he was closer to the top, so he went first. Yeah, fine. Okay, so then right to be Yisrael Shabbat a Mishmar
I'm
Wisconsin.
sorry, it's Yaakov. Art scroll
Yes.
says Yedaya drew first, then Charim, Pascha, and Imer, because that was the order in which they served in the first temple. It's not the
Right.
moment they came back. It's wherever they happen to be within those 24 families, whatever. That's
the order they went. Okay, yeah, very good. Yeah, very
They
good.
followed the Messiah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, so thank you. So Yisrael Shabbat Mishmar Wisconsin Be'arein Be'Karn Be'Maisa Bereshis. So they would go in and they would read in Maisa Bereshis. Minanimidi. All right. So how do you know, right? That what does Mamados have to do with Maisa Bereshis? So Amar of Yaakov Baracha, Amar of Asi, Ilmole Mamados, Lein Niskaimu Shamayim Va'aretz. If it wouldn't be for the Mamados, which doesn't really mean the Mamados, but Rashi says it means the Korbanos that Klal Yisrael does, right? Meaning, because what do Korbanos do? They make us have our Averas forgiven. Yeah, so if we wouldn't have Korbanos, then Memela, we wouldn't be forgiven, and then the world won't be able to survive because we're always doing things wrong. So again, some Ravasi, Ilmole Mamados, if not for the Mamados, like the sky, the Shemayim V'aretz wouldn't be. Right? Avram said to Hashem, how do I know that I'm going to I'm going to inherit the land? So Amar Avram, Rebbeinu Shalom, now the Gemara is explaining the pesukim. Rebbeinu Shalom, Shema Yisrael chaytin lefanecha, maybe Klal Yisrael is going to do bad. I don't know what the Shema was, right? Ata Aisalehem Kedara Maluk Dara Flaga, and you're going to do to them like the Dara Flaga and the Dara Mabel and destroy them. Maybe Klal Yisrael is going to do Averis and they're going to get destroyed. So Amalei, Lav, Hashem said, no, I'm not going to do that. Which again, he already promised it. Hashem already promised it after the Mabel. So I don't know exactly what Avram was asking. So Amalei found Rebbeinu Shalom, Haydieni.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hashem promised after the Derech to destroy the world, but then the Derech Flaga found a different way to destroy the world.
You mean it doesn't mean that he's
There's
going to
always another way to destroy it.
Right? It could be. It doesn't mean that Yidden are going to Yarshin Eretz Yisrael. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Good. Thank you. That's good. So let me know. Tell me, how am I going to know? How am I going to know that we Yarshin it? So Amalei, Choli Eglu Mishuleshes, Ve'ez Mishuleshes. So take for me 3, calves, and 3, goats, and then those are Korbanos. And you're going to see from that Korbanos is what makes the world go round. Meaning by taking Korbanos, so then you get a kapara. So what's going to be when there's no Beis HaMikdash? So you see that Avram knew there was already going to be no Beis HaMikdash. So I'm like, this is an unbelievable line of Gemara right here. I was already misakin for them the Seder Korbanos. Bisman shekorin behen lefanai, when they read in front of me the Korbanos, right? Maila ani aleim kilu akrivim lefanai. That's I make it as if they're actually bringing Korbanos. Ani moichel al kol avanosayim, and I'm going to be moichel them on all their avanos. Right? So that's a wild Gemara, that which the roiv of the world, roiv of the time, we did not have a Beis Hamikdash. So Hashem said that I set it up that when Klal Yisrael reads the pesukim of the Korbanos, yeah, it's as if they are makriv Korbanos, and therefore they get what do you call it? They get what's it called? Forgiven, right?
So
Now,
why is that cut out?
Line.
Why is that?
Take
Why is
note of
that?
that line.
which line?
Saying Korbanos.
Oh, exactly. Right. That's, you say Korbanos, and saying Korbanos is as if you're bringing a carbon. That's exactly, Rebbeinu, 100%. That's exactly, and we don't say Korbanos. Right? We don't say Korbanos.
Why is it the first thing that's cut out?
What does that mean?
Most places.
Why not cut out
you don't-
Psukim
you don't say
Zibra? Is that what you're saying? Say
right?
Korbanos and
Yeah,
cut out
okay.
Psukim
I don't
Zibra?
know. Yeah.
I don't know. We should mean, why do we, Rabbi?
Why is anything cut out? Why is anything cut out?
No, I'll tell you.
Why are we mocking on saying Shmona Esrei? Shema I can hear already, but Shmona Esrei and all that stuff. But that's already derabanan stuff. Why aren't we just pounding? Why aren't we pounding Korbanos?
The question is, how come in Shmona Esrei, like by Musaf Shmona Esrei, we say the Korbanos? How come in everyday Shmona Esrei we don't say the Korbanos? Now, to expand on that kasha, why don't we say Korbanos for davening by Shachris and Mincha? So really, you're supposed to. You're really supposed to. At least the Tamid. The Tamid, for sure, you have to say. The Velt makes a mistake. You have to say Korban Tamid. This day, yeshiva skip everything before that. And what shul, because it's a whole list of Korbanos, but those are not necessarily brought every day. But the Korban Tamid is the Korban that's representing the tefillah every day in the davening. And if we want to make it as if we participated in the Korban Tamid, then you have to read the Korban Tamid every day. Now the question is, why don't we do it?
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead, Rabbi.
I mean, I don't. Because I don't say Korbanos, so.
Neither do I. I just say the Tamid and the Keteris. That's it.
All right,
yeah.
fine. But you see in the Gemara,
You say the Keteris?
They had Mamados to represent Klal Yisrael. So Baruch Hashem, Dov is saying it. So why do I have to say it?
Very good. Okay, and a Hanami, if he's saying it on your behalf, Rabbi, do you say it on his behalf?
For everybody.
Okay. So Shine, I'm going to stop saying it now.
But
I'd rather yours, anyways. I have more faith in your Korbanos than mine.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's true. Yeah.
I say it. Look, whoever wants to get on the bandwagon, the game
Can't go on vacation now.
That's right. You better
I'm
say
with Israelim is only Bahrain.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's a good kasha, why we don't say it. So that comes out with whether really davening is from the Torah, not from the Torah, which we pass on, it's the Rabbanon, and davening is really not necessarily negative. That's the Gemaras and Brachas.
Isn't tefillah, the actual act of tefillah is deraisa. What we say and how we say it is the derabanan part, right?
Correct. Well, that's a Machlokes, Ramban. That's the whole sugya, right? But we're actually going to see it in 2 blot from now, that the Gemara is mashma that tefillah is from the Torah. But it's, so I don't know. I never had clear why those that do say the Keteris, the Tamid, don't say it by Mincha. I don't understand it. But it seems like they don't. I know Nusach Svard says it, but even the Ashkenazim, they don't make you say the Tamid. They're more stark that you do it in the morning, not necessarily by Mincha. I can't say understand it. But either way, the Chafetz Chaim, I saw this today. I saw this in the Masifta Gemara today. It was on my table, so I opened it up to look. And the Chafetz Chaim in one of his Svarim, Torah Or, asks, so 1 second. So why did I have to bring Makar of a carbon back then? Why didn't I just read the Korbanos or learn about the Korbanos, right? If Hashem said that the Klal Yisrael reads the Korbanos, so then why do I have to go busy getting a cow no cow, but a calf, or goats or sheep and make the whole asik? I'll sit down and I'll learn the parsha of a carbon chatas and I'll be good to go.
Maybe that only works when there's no basic English.
Oh, so he said be'etzem, it would even work during the Beis Hamikdash, right?
It would work.
That's a big
it's taking. Wow. It said it's taking place. If you don't, it would work. But the lechachila is to shech things. No.
So I guess that Olam is saying sort of like what he was saying. Both you and Dr. Coleman are saying basically, he said that because doing action speaks louder than words. So action is louder than words. So therefore, you might as well do the action. Not that the way I understood it from the Chavetz Chaim is that really, yes, it would work, even Bisman the Beis Hamikdash. But Lamaisa, if you could do action as opposed to words, then that's what you have to do. But not meaning it's not like the way I understand him saying it is that he's not saying like nowadays it's a b'diavad. I mean, it's a b'diavad because we don't have a Beis Hamikdash, unfortunately. But it's a lichatchila from the Rebbeinu that you can be Isaac in it, and that would work, right?
Maybe when they had the Beis Hamikdash, they didn't know that they could say it and be Yotzei.
And they didn't know this Gemara. You're saying?
I don't know. The reality was that they were shechting Korbanos every day, so that's what that was what they were doing. They didn't know they had another option.
Well,
this is too much pressure for me.
I hear that. No, but he's coming from.
I'm bailing out of this one.
Dave, we'll get you a Danish every morning.
That took about 5 minutes.
Yeah, but the Chavetz Chaim is coming from the kasha. He's bothered by the kasha. Is it a lechatchila or is it a b'diavad? Meaning, is our kapara from reading the Korbanos nowadays legit, or it's not on the same level? That's really what he's bothered by. So he's saying no, it's really on the same level. Just when you're in the Beis Hamikdash and you have the opportunity to do it the way Hashem lechatchila wanted it, so then you did it that way. But it doesn't mean that we should think that we don't have the same ability to do tshuva. I really think I have to double check it to see, because I only saw it quoted from him, to double check it to see if that's what he means. But it sounds like that's what he's saying, which is quite an interesting thing. Unfortunately, a lot of us, we think that, tshuva, yeah, lip service, blah. No, he's saying, no, it works legit. It works legit. We just don't have the Beis Hamikdash now, so we can't do it exactly the way Hashem wanted it. But as part of the tshuva process, it works. Yeah.
I was saying it facetiously before, but Taka, when they had the Mikdash, there's 600,000. Let's say you go to number 600,000. There's 600,000, right? They were working on their farms and going whatever they were doing. My Mamados was 500 people. How many people? 10 people, and the other people didn't do the Korbanos. They did whatever they were doing their life.
Right, and then
they
these
Mamados, they didn't go to the Beis Hamikdash.
Right, and these Mamados represented them. That's
They made them into shliach, no?
Right, whatever they did, but they weren't doing anything.
They
That's
weren't
what
actively
I'm
bringing the Korbanos. They weren't actively bringing the Korbanos.
They were shoals during the Beis Hamikdash.
But they were partners in it because they paid the Master
Ich verstehe that.
Yeah.
They were shoals during the Beis Hamikdash. Why couldn't they say the Korbanos if they couldn't bring the Korban?
Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe they did. Well, because what happened is they had these Mamados in the mishmaros to represent them. That's how that worked.
If they can't bring a korban themselves, you mean?
Yeah.
No, the korban sib is not if a guy fellow was chayav a katis.
Okay, not a chatas, but I'm saying
right. Yeah. But it's interesting because I don't even know if I ever read the korban katas. Maybe I should. I think it would be a wise idea.
At least once.
Okay. I'm saying, listen, I say the Talmud in the Ketairos every day, not from a klaf, Naftali. Don't get excited. All right? But
that was I knew.
By the way, I'm beginning to think you're not even Yaitza saying it, but whatever.
Okay, shine. But I'm saying I don't think I ever read. I guess when I'm Maver Sedra, I read the Korban Chatas. I guess, right? But maybe we should start. Anyway, I know Yom Kippur. Some people read the Korbanos, the parshas of Korbanos. No, on Yom Kippur, I think. No, nobody does that. Yeah. Well, it's like, that's it. What I know, another thing that the Olam doesn't do: read the pesukim of Korban Pesach on Erev Pesach. Right?
Some people when they bake matzahs, I remember when they bake matzahs, they do it.
Right, when they do matzahs, they do it.
Right, I remember in the day.
Yeah, you would know from the factory.
Yeah,
right, they did that, and they used to sing Hallel also.
Yeah.
Why aren't you taking care of the workers? What do you want with what the people are saying? You're supposed to
at
be
$10 a matzah, baby.
They're being on you. What
no, they're making it themselves. Sure. They're making it themselves, but
there were
I don't
workers.
know.
There's no workers every Pesach.
Makes you wonder that why we don't take a read. I once tried it on Erev Pesach. Didn't go so well, but I tried it once. Okay. Anyways, let's leave it. So Torah Rabbanan. Anshe Mishmar, how you mispalin al Korbanos. The first wide line now. Anshe Mishmar, you mispalin al Korbanos Chaim she is gabel beratzon. They were davening for their brothers, right? That there should be Bakabal Beratzon. And they would go into those that were not in Yerushalayim, would go into Shul, and they would sit 4 Tanis, and B'Sheni, B'Shabbos, B'Shlishi, B'Ri, B'Chamishi, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. B'Sheni, Al Yardei Ayam. On Monday, they fasted for people traveling you're going overseas, that they should be okay. Right? Then Bashlishi al Halchem Dvaris, they were going in the midbar, and this is all based. Rashi says these were all based on the pesukim and bereshis of when things were created. Ravi al Askara Shalaitipal ala Tinaikas, on Askara, which is that the throat blows up and it chokes people, right? And Chamishi al Ubras Amanikas on for pregnant women and for nursing women, right? That they should be okay. Ubra Shalayapilu. And Obra said that they shouldn't have miscarriages. Manika has been named that they should nurse their kids, which is an interesting one because obviously back then if they weren't able to nurse their kids, the kid would die. They had nothing else to feed the baby. So I wonder if that would change nowadays with formula. Okay, but that's a whole different sugya. Erev Shabbos, on a Friday they went in fast. They covered a Shabbos. It's because of covered Shabbos. Kavod Chomer b'Shabbos Atzman, a Kavod Chomer and Shabbos itself. So what was the covered Shabbos? That you're not supposed to go, it's not covered Shabbos to go into Shabbos fasting, right? Why? I'm not sure exactly why, but because I guess you're not going to go in with good Yishuv Adas into Shabbos. That's what I think, right? Guy Grada asked me last week that he fasts every Friday going into Shabbos. Is that the proper thing to do? And I told him, no, you can't go fasting into Shabbos. Yeah, it's fine. So Shabbos my time. So
how would you have to eat though, not drink? It's so much eating.
Rabbi, he really messes up the whole pregame. That guy. He's not
talking about eating, not drinking.
Oh, I thought you know to drink.
Yeah, you can't eat too much either. You can't eat too much either, right? Yeah, fine. So Shabbos my time. So why not on Sunday? So Rabbi Yochanan on Noitzrim because of the Noitzrim, the Christians, because Sunday was their holiday. Right, not their holiday, their Shabbos, lahavdil. Right, so it's their Shabbos. So we didn't want to look like we're making it into. They're going to get upset at us if they know that we're fasting.
What this is was talking about the Zman Mikdash. Was it?
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. Yeah. Did they have it back then?
There was no nights from Zman Mikdash.
Yeah, so I don't know.
They made Sunday the year 325.
Right. So that Sunday must have been based on something that was in previous generations. That's what I understand.
Sunday is based off of a sun god, and that's what they used to daven to a sun god. So whatever day Sunday was comparatively to that, the Yom Rishon, whatever it was, that's what they're talking about. It can't be by Christianity.
Right, right. It was way before. Yeah, must have been. So the Noitzrim must have based it on that, right? Okay, so that's why no fasting. Again, that's interesting. How would they know that we're fasting? How are they supposed to know if you're fasting? Right? We had this kasha a couple of weeks ago.
Because they walked past Gottlieb, there was nobody in there.
I guess so. That's what if the workers are non-Jews. I don't know. This is mamash a fascinating thing, right? Because Sunday is the third day of creation. Man was created on a Friday. Sunday is the third day, right? And Mamela, anytime you go through some stress, which being born, I guess, is a stress, right? So therefore, forever and ever, Sunday is a stressful day, which is Taka makes sense why everybody has such a hard time learning on Sundays. I don't know. To me sounds like a mama shemaka. I don't mean it as a joke.
I was gonna say it's a stressful day because all the kids are home. They want to do something. It's this and that.
But whatever it is, I think Sunday is just the shvacha day from this Gemara. It's funny. I always think that I'm shvach on Sunday because I eat like a who knows what over whole Shabbos. So I'm just overloaded. And Sunday, But maybe it's shot in this Gemara. Sunday, this Gemara is clearly saying
So that's
that
just in
Sunday for all
America.
people-
It's not in Israel.
Why?
Israel's a regular day. It's Sunday.
No, I understand, but people are just schwacher on Sunday. They're just schwacher on Sunday. I don't know in Eretz Yisrael if they're schwacher on Sunday. I can't. I was the same schwach when I was in Eretz Yisrael. The few years I spent learning over there, I was the same schwach. But I think maybe less because I didn't have much to eat in yeshiva like I do here. Could be it was less. I don't know. But from here, it sounds like for Dairis, it's Sunday is just a weekday. Okay, Rish Lakish neshama yeseira, because in neshama yeseira, Dom Rish Lakish neshama yeseira didn't let ba'adam b'erev Shabbos. It was given, an extra neshama was given on erev Shabbos. On Motzei Shabbos, on Motzei Shabbos they take it. Shenemar shavas vayinofash. They rested, and then he became vayinofash. He got like a new nefesh. Kivan sheshavas, once he rested, meaning Shabbos is over, vay of the nefesh. Woe is that he lost his nefesh, right? So therefore, what? So you're shvach because you lost the nefesh. So there's no fasting. There's no fasting on Sunday, right? Which, by the way, so we all make jokes that the neshama yeseira, you don't gain weight and all that. Everybody makes on Shabbos. Bottom line is, what's the neshama yeseira? Rashi says, "Shemarchivim daite la'achila v'shasiya." The neshama yeseira is directly connected to eating and drinking. We wonder how do we eat, right? Thanksgiving. The other one was saying that we have 3 Thanksgiving meals every week, right? They're going to go crazy how much they eat on Thanksgiving, right? Us Yidden eat so much on Shabbos, and the truth is, it's a pella how much. If you take a step back and think how much we eat on the Shabbos, it's something unbelievable. And Rashi here says it because it's marchid. The neshama yeseira is marchid.
Yaakov, on behalf of Gourmet Glot, they would really prefer that you don't take a step back and analyze it.
That's okay. Fair enough. But I'm just saying the Rashi says shemarchivim daite la'achila v'shasiya. That's what the neshama yeseira is. It has nothing to do with spirituality and this and that. At least the way Rashi is saying it. Yeah. Okay. Fine. But Yom Rishon Bereshis Vayirakia. Okay, so now
Could
we
be
get
Rashi saying what you were saying before. Teaching why Sunday's a weekday. Why people are weak on Sunday. Because the neshama yeseira makes us eat more. It could be he's putting it together though.
Yeah.
What does the neshama yeseira have to do on Sunday? Because the neshama yeseira is taking away Matzah Shabbos. We don't have neshama yeseira Sunday.
Correct.
What it's negaya to is not that this is what the neshama yeseira does. The way it's negaya here is because the neshama yeseira also does this.
Okay. Okay, I hear that. All right, that's good. Okay, so let's see weiter. This next word is a little technical, but it comes up on Rosh Chodesh. This comes up every Rosh Chodesh, this issue with the next Gemara. So B'yom Rishon Bereshis Vayirakia. So on the first day they read in Bereshis Vayirakia. So Tana Bereshis B'shnayim. The parsha of Bereshis you read with 2 people, and Yehirakia is be'echad. Yehirakia is with 1 person. So Bishlam Yehirakia be'echad tlas pesukim. It's 3 pesukim, so 1 person reads it. Ela Bereshis B'shnayim. Bereshis you read with 2 people. Might have hey pesukim having. It's only 5 pesukim. You need, again, we know the rule, right? And V'tanan we learned the Mishnah al yivchas migim pesukim. You can't read less than 3 pesukim. So how do you have the first parsha, which is only 5 pesukim, split amongst 2? There's not 3 pesukim for each person. So Rav Amar Doilig, Rav says you go back and repeat 1 pasuk. But Shmuel Amar Paisik, Shmuel says no, you split 1 pasuk into 2. So now, by the way, for those that are not aware, this is what we do on Rosh Chodesh. On Rosh Chodesh laning, which is the Korban Tamid, right? So that's the first aliyah, second aliyah. We go back and we repeat 1 pasuk so that we have enough pesukim, right? So clearly we paskin like Rav. But either way, so Rav says
we do this on Chalamoid Sukkos also.
Chalamoid Sukkos go back and do the whole day.
Just repeat the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's because of the sveikas between the sveik of the Yom.
Eretz Yisrael, they learned the same thing, all 3 aliyahs.
Yeah. Right. So Shmuel Amar Paisik. So Rav Damar Doilik. Rav that says go back. My time Amar Paisik. How come he says doesn't say to stop? Kasavar called psuka delay paske Moshe anan le paskinale. Any pasuk that Moshe didn't split up, so we also don't split up. Right. Now I want to stop right here for a second. I know it's late. Do you know how many examples there are of where we've split a pasuk? I don't know how many. The first one, which is the obvious one, is Yom HaShishi, right? Every Friday night Kiddush, since it's already, what's the problem, Gersh?
I say the whole pasuk. What do you mean?
Okay, so the fruma ones like you say the whole pasuk, but the bottom line is we split the pasuk. In the Haggadah, we split the pesukim. In the Haggadah, we split pesukim. Where else? There's other places that we split pesukim. Whatever it is, that's a kasha. It's late already, so. But there's all different terutzim in the Rishonim how we go about how we split it. But the fruma do read the whole pasuk, the gra, right? The gra would say, don't just start with Yom HaShishi. But that's why some say it quietly. Whatever, it's a big issue. It's a big issue. But the bottom line is the Gemara here saying that you don't split it. But Shmuel Amar Paisik, and Shmuel says Paisik that you split it. Umi Paskinan, do we split it? Amar Rab Chanina Kara, the Rab Chanina, the one that used to read like he was the Baal Kaira. Tsar Gadol Ali Yetzel Rab Chanina Gadol. I had a lot of pain by Rab Chanina Gadol. V'lo Hitali lives like Elo Litanaga Shebazon. He didn't let me split up pesukim, only for the kids to teach them. Hayil. And since we're doing it to teach them easy, maybe split up a long pasuk, right? Every time you see a long taisus, you want to split it up in order to maybe understand it, right? So he wanted to split the pesukim, so that they let him do, right? So, but otherwise you can't do it. The Shmuel Hasam time in my mishum delay after there by the kids. The reason why they let you split it is because you didn't have a choice. So here too we don't have a choice. We can't have somebody read only 2 pesukim, so therefore we have no choice. You have to split the pasuk. Shmuel Amar Paisik, and Shmuel says you do split it. My timer, Loy Amar Doilik. How come he doesn't say go back? It's exile because the people that come in late, and the exile the people that are leaving early. So Taisus actually explains this one that if the person comes in late, so he didn't see that the first guy read 3 pesukim, and all he's going to see is that the second person reads one pasuk from the previous. So he's going to say that the first pasuk, he's not going to know that we repeated. The guy coming in late is not going to know that we're repeating a pasuk. So he's going to hear you read pasuk number 3, 4, and 5, and he's going to think, 1 second, the first guy only read a pasuk 1 and 2, so that's wrong. And the guy leaving early is going to say the same thing. So Mamela, we're afraid for the.
I don't even understand that. What do we ever do anything else for late people or people want to leave?
Yeah,
come later?
Good.
Are people who leave early?
And a Chanami, so yes.
Baruch Hashem and Ma'ariv, no?
Well, okay, and also for Shamru, but that's not for late. That's for people davening longer.
Well, Baruch Hashem is for people who come late to Ma'ariv.
No, so Baruch Hashem, yeah, but
so say Morganovos for people who came
No,
late?
that's because you don't want them to walk home.
You don't want to walk home.
Coming late to a 7-minute mile is a little bit different than coming to just in the middle of laning.
Of the Mamados. Okay.
Not arguing with that.
I hear you.
No, but were the Mamados doing Shachris or they had a separate thing for laning?
Well, that's also part of the sugya. Some were during Shachris, some were during Musaf, some were during. Okay, so let's go. It's a little late, so let's just finish. It's a Meisvei. Parsha Shashisha Pesukim Korbanos B'Shnayim. A parsha of 6 pesukim you can split it with 2. V'shel Chamisha. V'shel Chamisha B'Yochid V'im Harishan Kaira Gimel. It's a little the gear size here a little different, but you have the Chamisha pesukim is read by 1. V'im Harishan Kaira. I did a run-on sentence. Sorry. V'shel Chamisha B'Yochid Chamisha 1 person reads V'im Harishan Kaira Gimel. But if the first person reads 3 pesukim, Hasheni Kaira Shnayim Parsha Zu. Then he'll read 2 from this parsha and then go on to the next parsha. Gimel, and some say 3. You don't start another parsha less than 3 pesukim. So why do you have to do this? Start to the next parsha. Why don't you just go back? Well, and the one that says that you split pesukim, so why don't you just split the pesukim here? So what answer Shani Hasam. On Talmud Aleph now, the Islay Ravacha. It's talking about where there was a lot there. There was a lot. You didn't have that. How do you call it? Ravacha. You didn't have that luxury, whatever it is, right? Because
the leeway.
leeway. Okay, I guess leeway, right? Yeah, because you did the next parsha. You didn't have the possibility to start with the next parsha. Meaning these other situations you did have it. Here you didn't have the opportunity to. You didn't have what you call it, leeway to go into the next parsha, so it wasn't possible. But in a chanami, if it was possible, then you would either repeat or you would split. You would split pesukim. Okay, sorry we went a little long. We'll stop here. I guess 3:40 tomorrow. 3:40.
And Matzah Shabbos.
Matzah Shabbos. 8. I do it for. Let's throw Elio a bone. We'll do 8, not 6. Don't worry, Rebbe. We only was last week.
But you're giving your shear. What time is your shear?
She'll be
Afterward.
9. The 9.
The 8 is okay.
Yeah.
It'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't depend on me for the Korbanos, guys.
Okay, don't worry about it. So we're gonna say the Korbanos ourselves.
Don't depend on
Matzah
me.
Shabbos, the Shvar's yard side.
Coming late to Minion tomorrow. I'm not saying Korbanos.
Shares your outside. Okay. Fine. All right. Good Nacht.
Oh yeah.
Well, Aaron, does that mean
Yeah.
on Sunday you're being mighty everyone with Korbanos?
Me? I'm an Adam.
He's celebrating.
What did I?
Quicker
What did
than
I?
Mishnayos.
What
Just
did
say
I?
Korbanos.
I yarshed the big Hasidus taka.
Yeah.
Tiago, I taka yarshed the big Hasidus.
You did, Taka. You did.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right.
All right. Good night,
Oh, it's
everybody.
Yaakov.
Yeah.
I had a very big discussion today about the chaylos, the machel. What is it?
Oh, okay.
On a different daf chat. A lot of people got involved. We came out at the end that the word technically means a circle. The definition of the word machel is a circle.
I saw this somewhere, Gershon. I saw this. One of the other Magadir Shurim said this.
Oh,
On
yeah?
Old Daf. Yeah.
There's just it's arguably the definition can be changed depending on context. So there's pesukim all over the place. By Miriam, when with a Teitzena, the women went out with her. It says betupim uvim chaylos. There's machlokes there what mechaylos means. Rashi points over here to shayftim b'chaylos k'melachel b'mechaylos. Over there in shayftim there's a machlokes what it means, whether it's a circle or as of yet I haven't found a makar that says it's dancing. The Malbim on Tehillim, Kuf Mem Tes, we say Yahalu Shmei B'Machal. He compares it to a case where Kadosh Baruch Hu, Lasid Lavi, makes a circle of the tzaddikim, and he stands B'Rashayim, and that Machal revolves, so that all the tzaddikim get a chance to be Mekal B'Shnei Shechina directly.
Now you're talking heavy stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to take this as a basic zach, and you're making it into who knows.
Yeah, but it's not this case. So the Malbim seems to say that it just means a circle. He compares it to a medrash in which the Malbim seems to say it just means a circle. It doesn't mean dancing at all. There's one Mitsudis that says it means dancing in Shayft. That's only because it's used as a verb, not a noun.
Who's Yankee Fotek that I added today to the group? You know what it is, Diego?
Yankee
who? Fotek?
Oh, but he wasn't muted today. I had to mute him.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Oh no.
Anyhow, what Gershon, what you're saying is it was like the speed dating that they have now. They sit around in the circle and
That's
they
what I
roll
was
one
thinking.
song.
That's what I was
Similar, yeah. Same idea. I think that's Pashim Pshat what it was. Oh, and someone mentioned today, I don't know where he got it from, but the Mishnah seems to say that they did this on both Tu B'Av and Yom Kippur. He said that the Yom Kippur thing was only the first part.
I'm laughing because you said Tu B'Av and Peretz was talking about speed dating. I'm messed up. Isn't Tu B'Av the school of the duchen?
That's what this is. This is that.
Yeah,
This is the Mishnah. Tu B'Av and Yom Kippur. But the parshness of the Tzvi Yaakov, you said yesterday that they did this on both Chamisha Asar B'Av and Yom Kippurim. He said that they only did it on Tu B'Av.
Who's he? Who's he?
That guy on another chat. I don't know. He seems to give shiurim all over the place, but I don't know who he really is.
What is he? He's a hidden magashir?
I have no idea. Yeah.
No.
All right, we bought a hydrated today. We made jerky. We can see how it came out.
I don't know what's here. Probably.
Madchila. Why are you hiding, Madchila?
So what do I do with it?
Where'd he go?
My brother? No, he's in there. He walked into the kitchen.
Oh, okay. You're learning that they did this circle or dancing or whatever it was on Yom Kippur also?
Gershon Russell wants to. Gershon, last night I wanted you to stick on. Your cousin came here to learn with me right after.
Spoke about Aaron Kaplan tonight.
Who?
Right after.
You spoke about who? Mordecai?
The guy that's engaged. What's his name? The guy that's engaged.
Aaron Kaplan at the local.
Oh, yeah, he came, Taka?
At the what?
Nice.
At a local shul meeting in Inwood.
A local shul meeting in Inwood. Gee, I made it in life. Look at that.
We said that we were trying to talk about the shul that we're trying to handle is like we want it to be like a Rabbi Hertzberg match. So Nassim brought up that
I want you to do it. I want you to do it before the
guy who basically ran the minion. He basically ran the minion, and Rabbi Hertzberg knew how to deal with him perfectly.
At what point do you feel out this?
Gershon, you see what Mordecai say? Mordecai's mechaber to what I said before. Mordecai,
exactly.
You what?
You and Yairish. You're talking Yairish.
In the fiat?
So 1 second. So I said the only thing I yarshin is a big chasidus that I got. That I took over.
It comes out that Lamaisa, you're the only one that was Yairish anything.
Right.
Positive.
I'm even Yavin.
Russell Schlitter.
Yeah, how are you?
Who's over there? Who's in the corner?
Parrots.
Where is
It's your brother, Mister. Hello.
I can't see him with his big beard.
He's trying out for Duck Dynasty.
There's a 10-10 on the corner.
How's that? Does that work?
That's better.
I have to go bring over beer to a rummy good friend is making a Shalom Zucker.
Martha, I heard the rumor
really?
has it that Pinchas Weinberger wants to make a big macha. He's mamish upset with you guys. He's furious.
Nah, he's fully on board.
Well, he gave it already. He lost the battle, huh?
Yeah. We communicate everything with him.
You know what happens?
Good politician.
You know the shot. When somebody comes fully on board, it means he's giving up that he lost. So all of a sudden he has no choice. He's fully on board.
He's smart. That's the way to do it.
100%. 100%.
Way to do it. Rather be with him.
What? I don't know why he thought that he could have a shlito when the community was growing by leaps and bounds. Why he thought he was
Yeah. He knows. He knows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, one of the guys laid it down, straight and said, if you're smart and you want to keep peace in the community, be aware that as the community grows, shuls are going to open, and that's how it goes. And if you want,
what was his havamina otherwise?
Nah, because he also has some guys. He also has some guys that wanted to be that. There's only one shul in the community, but that's